to them for the opportunities that they gave me. And they always were very affectionate to me. They were always very nurturing of me. Two of the bosses who were very famous. One is Anuj. Anuj Puri is now the chairman of Anurag. I have an unusual story. You talked of MDI.
Yes.
When I passed out of MDI, the placements were good, but they weren't like today. So I got a job at Mastech, which is a listed IT services company, and there were 2 months or 3 months before I was joining the job. March 9th was our convocation. I was joining on 9th June. So I went out. A junior of mine from engineering college introduced me to his brother-in-law called David Fowler, who was setting up Collier's Jardine. So I went and met him, and he got me a few beers. I was young and impressionable then. I'm young and impressionable now also, but I was a little more young and impressionable. And he offered me a job at Collier's Jardine, and I accepted that. I went back home and I told my dad that I'm going to join Collier's Jardine. So my dad asked me, "What's Collier's Jardine?" I said, "It's a real estate services company. It does consulting, it does research, it does broking." So मेरे पिताजी ने एक ब्रोकिंग पकड़ लिया और हिंदी में मुझे बोला कि अगर तुम्हें दलाली करनी तो इतना पढ़ने लिखने की क्या जरूरत थी. But he allowed me to do what my parents allowed me to do. I joined Colliers, and in Colliers, because I worked in real estate, and then with Anuj, I met very high net worth individuals. So you learn from your customers, and because I was dealing with individuals and entrepreneurs, and Anuj was very entrepreneurial. One, he would work very hard. Second, he was very good at communication. Third, there is a certain amount of sincerity that Anuj has. And all that ethos helped. Deep Kalra used to be a customer. He was at AMF Bowling, he was the MD for India, and he was looking for spaces for FECs. So I was helping him get that. So once he offered me a job, I didn't join. Then he offered me a job again. I joined, and I did not do well in that job. Let me say that. Because I couldn't sell enough. Because people weren't buying bowling centers because there was customs duty on bowling. Real estate can be put to other uses. Bowling hadn't picked up as a game. I wasn't being able to sell. And then HTA happened. And that's where Amit and me thought of Exchange for Media. And then Naval joined. Amit is my batchmate from MDI, and Naval my junior from engineering. And we three started Exchange for Media.
But what about things like, the classic notion of entrepreneurship is you have to have a business plan, you need to do market research, you need to talk to 10 people about your idea, you need to do all these kind of analysis. All that is a given.
All that is a given.
So when this opportunity of business world came to you, did you think that, the world has
two backstories
conspired to give this to me, or did you say, hang on, I'm going to analyze it, I'm going to really understand how much capital
I already did that 6 years back, I'll tell you. So Exchange for Media is on the business of media. Because of that, I had an opportunity to meet every business media owner in this country, every editor, any media advertiser. But I'd done thinking all that. The business plan I had for 6 years. So when it came, one, it was a natural progression from a business media, which we were okay at, leaders in every parameter in that business, by traffic, by revenue, by editorial respect, by reach, by the quality of what we do in 360 degrees. So it was a natural leg up. So I bought it. I did not spend. I might jokingly say that I'm from Haryana. We don't think before doing. So we just do it.
But that's a joke. You actually, 6 years this business plan was
in somewhere it was in my
incubated in your head.
It was.
But then the plan changed in some sense. So then it didn't go exactly the way you had imagined it in your head.
So one, culture change is a very big thing.
Yes.
It took me a while. It is a company that existed for 33 years. It's anyway a tough business. Second, I now say the power of three. If you think you need 1 rupee of capital, you always need 3. You know it as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
So don't put less capital to do something. I underestimated the culture change and hence the capital requirement. And third is be bold. When letting go people or hiring people, shutting down that something not working. I think these are things I'd do better. But I'm in the play. We will make business world work.
There are views on whether media is doing it
we can do it better.
But what I really want to understand is that, the power of the media today, apparently it seems on the face of it that we live in a post-truth world and so on. Now, if you look at yourself as a human being, Anurag, it's about being an optimist, about giving back to people, giving back to society. So do you feel that the business that you are in versus the person you are, there are conflicts at times?
No, no. In fact, I would.
And if there are, how do you
So
manage
there are
those
some
conflicts?
dilemmas, but mostly it's a sync. See, honestly, I'm lucky. I couldn't have had a better job. Where would I get? I I know you didn't with me, but I have followed your journey. I'm talking to you. You meet, you're still successful and you built a large. I meet people who are starting out who was incredibly fantastic. So I think, first to answer your question, we can do a better job in media. And in two ways. One is be more honest. Second is be more detailed. And being more detailed will lead to being more honest. Are we trying? Yes, we are trying.
That's a very, very inspiring story. And one last thought before I let you go. So, a lot of young people today, they look at people like you and they feel inspired, but they don't know enough to make the jump to actually realizing their dreams. So, when somebody is in school or somebody is in college, what do you think are the good habits they should inculcate so that when the time is right, in their mind, they will know how to make the switch to becoming an entrepreneur or a founder of their own company?
First of all, Shantanu, you have to be a good person. You have to do the basics right. I sound very old in this, sound very preachy. But look after your parents, look after your family, look up to your teachers. Be nice to your classmates. Don't bully them. Collaborate with them when you're in class 10, 12. But what matters today, the world is a little different. Your daughter is an entrepreneur. My daughter is very young. She's trying to be an entrepreneur. So we know that it's about going for maybe for a Thai young business entrepreneur. There's a school entrepreneur network which Pawan LLR runs. There are many. There may be more.
So when you
So
were in school, you used to read a lot.
So
Is
reading.
that is an
So
important
reading a
thing?
lot is the most important thing. And one is consuming content, videos, all that. But reading gets you to imbibe. And that's scientifically proven that if you read and you write, it it develops your brain. It develops. Second is meet people. Meet your father's friends, your mother's friends. Meet people who are a little older than you, 2 years. You're in class 10, somebody in called 12 who's done well. Make them your mentor. And I want to say at the end of the day, initially you may not figure out what you want to do. It may take you a while. None of us day one knew what we wanted to do. We kind of felt it.
So is it okay to be in a zone where you're little not sure and
100%.
you just
If you're
keep sort of going ahead in
if you're
life?
too sure, you're possibly being cocky. Possibly. I mean, then you're God gifted, but it takes a while to know what is your calling, what you're good at. And the more you do something, as they say, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yes.
And I want to say one more thing, and I think young people is, life is about trade offs. Either I can party or I can develop a new business project. Either I can read or I can watch more TV. Either I can eat junk food or I can be healthy. So life is a trade-off. Very early you should learn to make these choices. And I know young people do, whether to go for another party or to do their. So life is about trade-offs. So you got to make those trade-offs. Once you start making the trade-offs, you'll figure out over a period of time what works for you and what doesn't.
So I think trade-offs are for ordinary, normal people because you have stretched time because you can do 8 days a week. Normal people can't do. So
I'd like to be normal, you know, so I'd like to be normal. That's another thing, Shantanu. The simple things in life are very important. A conversation, like a good cup of coffee, a good song, can change your mood, can make you feel good. Somebody is nice to you, gives you a compliment. Gratitude. I'll tell you the last story. When I was 12 years old, which is 35 years back, my sister was 16 years old. My mother would say, "Thank God that your ears are okay, eyes are okay." Me and my sister used to look at each other, saying, "Mama, ऐसा क्यों कहती है?" But today we know the power of gratitude. Today we realize what our mom says to us now also and then. That actually gratitude. I'm grateful for this opportunity to talk to you. I'm grateful to the opportunity